The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
You're listening here on Tony Kurre Radio, and wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast, we hope you get a chance to check out Mission Minded. Of course, it runs 5 days a week. Fantastic show. We were talking about the Putin and Trump meeting, and we'll continue to take your emails, info@tonykurreradio.net. Info@tonykurreradio.net if you have any comments on that. We do another show with Michael Coleman, CEO of the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, which is more specific towards food banks and, of course, feeding America with Bite by Bite. Non-for-profits do pretty well. I actually did a thing for an organization called Keystone. It's called the Keystone Club. I was down at, I'm sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Thank goodness I wasn't like that when they handed the microphone to me. I just got cold feet and just kind of sat there and stared off like a deer. No, but it's a wonderful organization that helps and advocates for people who have substance and alcohol abuse issues. They do 18 different meetings a week. It's just a wonderful organization. They do, again, it's called Keystone Club, if you want to check it out. And I was asking them, I said, boy, it would be really neat to come work for your organization, because they've asked me to do numerous things because I'm a recovering person. And I said, if you'd ever want to hire, a Tone the Bone that would come on board, this would be something of a calling for me. I would really enjoy that. And she said, boy, I wish we could, but things are just so tight. And she said, it's really hard to hire people in this industry. It takes a special person to work for a non-for-profit, as you attest to, because you have done stuff your entire life with non-for-profits, including the Jimmy Hill Mission, and now, of course, the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. So I want to talk about a little bit about the difficulties and actually the employment challenges you must deal with at a non-for-profit.
Yeah, for the most part, it's no different for-profit. But in our climate today, I have found it is just incredibly difficult. When I talk to, like, for instance, my Rotary Club, we have some nonprofit, but we also have for-profit. And every leader says the exact same thing. It's people that will run you crazy, even in good cultures when you come in. And I've talked about this on other programs that, I feel a real need, and the way I want to lead is to help people be successful. But, people come in and do interviews and they give you their best presentation. And so you hire them thinking that's who they're going to be. And it doesn't quite work out like that. Well, in the nonprofit space, it can be really difficult. And we've even experienced that at times to where, and I think in part because in the nonprofit world, I've spoken about this before, there is just this lack of pursuing excellence. And so you get people who come in and just want to come in, and it's almost like government work.
Yeah.
There's probably some government workers who kill it every day because they take pride in what they're doing. But from what I've seen, the people I've interacted with, there's a real problem, a motivation problem. And one of the things I've found is I'm trying to push people. I'm like, look, there's kids that are going to bed. We're trying to prevent kids from going to sleep at night. We're trying to prevent older people from choosing between food and medicine. We're pushing. And so we have to maintain excellence. Again, I want to go as if there's 3 food banks people can choose from, but they're going to choose us because we get the best service, the best food, all of that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, it's getting harder and harder to bring people in, to get the best people. The one difference is salaries keep going up. One of the things that jumped out to me was I saw some salaries just going back about 20 years ago, and what people are getting paid, and just how exponentially higher it's getting to get good people. They can demand more. I mean, things that you used to could pay $50,000 for, now 6 figures. And then you're still worried about people coming and getting them and getting the best of you and all that. It is a real challenge nowadays to get people to see a vision, take ownership of it, and say it's not all about money. It's all about creating a better world and serving others. And Boy, I tell you, it's a frustrating thing when somebody comes in and you want to build and grow the organization, but they're just end up being dead weight in your
Yeah.
system, and it's a struggle.
I'm sorry to hear that you have to go through that, and it's certainly a labor of love. It's unfortunate because there are a lot of people out there that have the time and the resources to perhaps help out at a better rate that they probably do. But if people want to help out, of course, your wonderful organization, Heart of Alabama Food Bank, how can they help you out?
Um, Let me stop right there.
Sure,
I can we just kind of do the whole thing? The whole thing didn't flow like I wanted it to.
sure,
Can we do it? It's a, I mean, we could be 5 minutes.
that's fine.
I kind of, okay, let's see. I printed out some things that I wanted to kind of focus on, and I got sidetracked by that darn update.
That's fine.
Um, so let's take it from this, the public perception about nonprofits. Let's do it from that, and kind of
Okay,
the misunderstanding that nonprofits are are just volunteer only and managing, unrealistic donor and public and employee expectations oftentimes. So maybe we
okay,
do that.
okay,
Yeah, let's take it from
okay,
that angle.
okay. And we could keep the beginning there.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Three,
All right.
two. So, talk a little bit about Michael, the public perception what non-for-profits are. You know, it is certainly a labor of love,
Yeah.
and talk about the embodiment of that organization when you talk about hiring and firing individuals. Obviously, it's difficult to find good help that people want to work for maybe not the same type of money they'd get somewhere else. We'll just talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny the public perception that lots of times you have. I have that public perception of, well, why does, even on our board of directors, they'll say, well, why does Michael need a raise? Because it's almost like, well, if you're going into the nonprofit, you're supposed to take a vow of poverty with that.
Hmm.
And of course that you're not going to get the best, you want the best people to run that because you've got to run it like a business. But the public perception sometimes and the misunderstanding is nonprofits are just fueled by volunteers and you're doing good. And so you do the best you can with what you got. In one sense, that may be true, but the truth of the matter is when there are people who are depending on you and really, and we do, people that'll never meet us will never meet them, but we know they're depending on getting food in their communities so that, the kids are not going to bed hungry, the older people are not having to choose between um, food and medicine. That requires you, I got to have the best people here. I got to have people who love their communities, love people, and strive for excellence. And so you got to overcome the stigma of people coming here. Yeah, I'll go to work there. I'm not expecting much pay. Or they of course desire more pay, but it's like, oh, their perception is, oh yeah, I know you don't make much at nonprofits, so I'll go. And it's so funny because every time I call, especially if I hire a senior person, I tell them, I say, listen, if you've been in nonprofit world, maybe even for-profit world, you've not ever been in one. I guarantee you that's going to run as fast as I'm going to run you here. And it takes them a little bit shot. And I've even had people go, oh no, I get it. I've been in fast.
Wow.
And then when they get here, and it's because I'm like, look, we're seeking excellence. And so it's a lot of work about changing the perception and changing the expectations of employees. So when they get here, they're not just going to a nonprofit to do good, whatever happens. It's no, I need to seek excellence and I'm gonna give it my best. But I get to come to work and do something that's changing people's lives. Nonprofits can't always match what you can get on the outside. It's getting better because nonprofits have realized the bottom line is I can't take the leftovers out of the for-profit business. I've got to have people who can compete. And when you're talking about fundraising, you're talking about marketing, you're talking about operations, you can't get the throwaways out of society and just do the best you can. You've got to have good people who take ownership and really push your mission. That is, if you want to have the most impact you can on the people that you serve.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.